into the DNVR Avalanche Podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Use code DNVR when you sign up for a new account to get amazing odds boosts every single day. Rudo and AJ coming at you with the entire league. Basically, I guess the Isles have only played 20 games, but that essentially counts as 25% of the way through the season. So I'm counting it. We're 25% of the way through the season at least. Figured it was a good time to take a look at some of the early contenders for the trophies around the NHL. Some of them are more obvious than others. Going to be some probably pretty clear runaways for the Hart, I would think, in particular. We'll see how it goes, but where do you want to start, AJ? Do you want to start with one the Avs are likely involved in, or do you want to go elsewhere?
Let's go elsewhere.
All right.
Let's talk Lady Bing.
Okay. Definitely one I had on the list.
On.
Yeah. Let's start with the conversation that we had the other day. I mean, I guess you can make an argument that maybe Byram or Newhook are on the very, very outside of this conversation, but realistically, it's not going to be an Av that's going to win the Calder. You're probably looking at a couple of Red Wings in Mason Raymond and Moritz Seider, and then potentially Trevor Zegras over in Anaheim.
Lucas Raymond?
Oh, did I say Mason? Shit.
Mason's been done for a while now.
Yeah, he's not played hockey in a minute. It's been also not nearly as good as Lucas Raymond at hockey. So
I mean, Mason had a year or two. A couple of years he was a pretty good player.
Lucas has got 22 points already in his rookie year, so
the Calder this year has Lucas Raymond and Moritz Seider getting a lot of the burn. Trevor Zegras for real too.
Yeah, only 1 point behind Raymond. So it's not like he's just doing nothing out here.
My bad.
It does become an interesting conversation though, because let's start here. Let's start with just Detroit. Who's more important to Detroit's success right now? Is it Raymond or is it Seider? Because, yes, Raymond is the leading scorer out there, but Seider is that defenseman that you talk about.
Long-term or?
Both. Let's do both. Let's start right now.
I would say now probably. No, I think they're both probably Seider.
Yep.
I mean, you're talking about a top wing just versus a top pairing D. Yep. Seider's giving you 22 minutes a night, and he actually has more power play points than Raymond does.
Yeah.
So
I mean, how many power play points does Raymond actually have? I don't know. I'll have
5.
to look. Okay, so that's pretty limited on the power.
Seider has 6.
Well. All right.
Seider leads all rookies with 6 power play points, and then Raymond, Zegras, and Jamie Drysdale have 5.
All right, so pretty bog standard type stuff there. I guess Drysdale's an interesting conversation because he's the other defenseman kind of in the top 10 in rookie points, right? But
yeah,
Seider, I think, has the upper hand pretty solidly on that.
Yeah, there were really 3 defensemen in this year's rookie class that you could have an interesting conversation about their futures between Seider, Jamie Drysdale, and Paul Byram.
Yep.
If Byram's healthy, look, Byram is
probably right in the middle of the conversation. Yeah,
he was playing 20 minutes a night on one of the better teams in the league, and he had 9
production is very, very good. Yeah,
he had 9 points in 13 games, none on the power play.
Yep, because he doesn't get power play time on this hockey team.
He straight up, they're all even strength points. So that's that's a thing that I think would have been interesting. Maybe there's still a whole season. If Byram ends up just missing 10 or 15 games, then if he has incredible stats at the end of the year, then maybe he sneaks into the conversation. But it would require some of these guys slowing down a little bit. And I think we're already seeing that. Moritz Seider at one point was point per game. Lucas Raymond
was above it for a bit there. Yeah.
Raymond's was above it. I mean, Michael Bunting in Toronto is also kind of weird. and this is where there are two guys. Michael Bunting at 26 years old.
As a
and
technical rookie, yeah.
Yeah, and then still with rookie eligibility is Alex Nedeljkovic, the goaltender in Detroit. So, I mean, you're having the rookie conversation. It's like solid this year.
Yeah.
When you look down the road, how many of these guys are leading their teams? How many of these guys are star players? I think you've got some actual star caliber players here. I wonder, I never have been sold on Lucas Raymond as like the high end wing. I've always thought good player, not great.
He definitely felt like more of a complimentary piece in his drafts. Yeah,
definitely. And Zegras, you think as a 1C point per game, dazzling playmaker,
definitely like, in his wheelhouse. Yeah.
You like, it's easy to dream on that guy, right? Like it's easy to dream on that guy. Seider has shown himself as a true
super dynamic defenseman.
A two-way top flight D. He's going to be interesting. Byram, the same thing. Jamie Drysdale's defense has taken a huge step forward from a disaster of a rookie year last year, where he really shouldn't have been in the NHL. I think, but
probably not.
He, some good, like there's some really good players. Dawson Mercer has been really fun in New Jersey, but you wonder, a lot of that production has come without Jack Hughes. How much does Hughes either
push his opportunity down the list?
Yeah. And then you get kind of deeper, like Cole Sillinger's 18 years old and sticking.
Yep. I don't think he's going to win it or anything, but
no.
He's around.
Anton Lundell, I think, is a quiet candidate for this because he's producing really well on a
Florida
just
team,
a stacked
that's
Florida team,
monstrous.
That if he just keeps humming right along, like that's a guy that's kind of buried early on in this. As the scoring slows down, I wonder if his role, his role and the cast that he has around him, I wonder if he could just sort of kind of thread that needle where he just rolls right into the 40-50 point range all year long, and you get to the end of the year and you're like, because like a guy like Tanner Jeannot, you probably don't think, Rem Pitlick, you're like
a bunch of guys that you're like, are they really going to keep this up?
Yeah, like we'll see. We'll see here. And like quietly, there's two forwards that I really like that I think are interesting dark horses that could continue to score. In Seth Jarvis and Alex Newhook. Seth Jarvis is actually getting big role in Carolina, and as long as that continues, you never know. Jarvis with 9 points in 16 games, and then Newhook on the season, it's 8 points in 13 games, but it's 8 points in 12 games since his recall.
Yeah, ignoring opening night.
So.
Look, you already know I'm on the Alex Newhook 40 points train. So
yeah, and look, like if Newhook throws up 40 points in like 60 games, 65 games or something, something in that range, he stays healthy, he keeps producing. Like it's
a tough stat line to argue against.
That's a pretty impressive rookie year when you're the third line center in Colorado.
Considering the role being played, but
it's also crazy to me that everybody's preseason favorite Cole Caulfield, 1 goal in 18 games.
Yeah,
and
part of that is the disaster that is Montreal,
and I mean shooting 2.8%. Like we were talking last night, Nathan McKinnon. That shit's not going to continue.
Yeah,
that's not going to continue either with Cole Caulfield. He's way too good of a shooter for that to keep up, but. Also, like, you just look at the Colorado-Montreal game last week. Cole Caulfield wasn't really a dangerous threat in that game.
For the most part, yeah.
Anybody really notice him much? I mean, he got the puck once or twice where you were kind of like, and then nothing happened. You're like,
well, I mean, it's interesting to look at because a lot of these teams, you look at Detroit, you look at Anaheim, and everyone's saying, can they keep this up? Can they actually keep going? And it's interesting to try and suss out exactly how much of their success is directly based on their rookies.
Yeah.
Are they going to live and die by their rookies this year, or when rookies have a lull like they inevitably do,
Yeah.
will they be able to keep going?
What happens when some of these shooting percentages come down?
Yeah.
Jonathan Dahlin out in San Jose has 7 goals on 19% shooting. I mentioned Rem Pitlick, by the way, who has 5 goals on 11 shots.
Shoot to casual 44%.
Yeah, 45.5% shooting. So you're talking about some guy and Lucas Raymond at the top here. You look, 17% shooter.
Yep. And Raymond, not a guy who was a big goal scorer really throughout his career in Sweden. So
I'm talking about high shooting percentage. Alex Newhook is shooting 22.7% right now.
Yep, probably not sustainable.
Yeah. But you also think with Newhook, his playmaking, you think is going to eventually start to be the thing that really
put some decent finishers around him a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's where JT Compher coming back
helps a lot. Yeah.
It's like a very natural, Abe Kubel moves down one and, you put JT Compher and the shooting percentage king right there next to him, and it's an obvious, right?
Yep.
You can see where that one works out a little bit. So I think that this is an interesting rookie class. I don't think this is a rookie class that we look back on in a few years and go, wow.
I don't think it's gonna be a long-term super banger.
Yeah, especially when you consider that Bowen Byram could be the best player that comes out of this rookie class. And
yep,
of course, again, barring injury, he probably would have been higher in this conversation.
It would have been probably not winning it or in line to win it, but in the conversation.
Yeah, I saw ESPN did a big awards thing recently, and Byram was had he not been hurt, he would have been part of this because his play when he's been healthy this year. It's just been too good.
All right.
Just been too good.
Want to get to this really quick, too. The Hart Trophy. Can Ovechkin steal it away from the Edmonton boys? Is it possible?
So I think the thing that it's going to require is those votes, they cannibalize each other.
A little bit of the same McKinnon-Rantanen thing as we saw here in Colorado a few years ago.
Well, a little bit, yeah.
But I guess less that and more, they're both stealing each other's votes, right?
Yeah, they really McKinnon all the way down to 2.4%. I was just thinking I wanted to check it. It's funny because it's he just can't drop significantly more in one game.
You just can't go that much lower.
Yeah, exactly. he needs 100 more shots on goal without a goal for him to really get into the ones, Anyway, sorry. Can Ovechkin continue this pace? Ovechkin over his career, obviously 20 goals in 26 games. Had you told anybody before the season Ovechkin would have 20 goals in 26 games, we'd all be like,
it's possible. Right. Yeah, he could do that. It's Ovi.
So it's Ovi then, is what you're telling me.
Yeah.
It's the 21 assists.
Yeah. Because
without looking, what do you think his career high in assists is?
40.
Okay, it's actually 59.
I should have known.
He's broken 54 times. The most recent time that it happened was 2010, 2011.
So not been an assist guy in his majority of his career.
Yeah, the last 3 years, 19 assists, 18 assists, 21 or 38 assists, not counting this year.
Okay. So
how
sustainable is that really?
Right. For him to have more assists than goals is the upset here. Plus he's shooting 18%, which any idea what OV is as a career shooter? I'm actually surprised by this number.
12, 13.
12.8.
Yeah.
Nailed it. So him shooting 18%, that's high for him.
Yep. And that's not, he's still probably the greatest goal scorer ever, right?
Yeah.
But when you're Alex Ovechkin, your volume of shots just makes it impossible to remain that high of a shooting percentage. Like
He has 111 shots on goal right now.
21 games or
20
whatever
in
it is.
26 games.
26 games. Yeah, that's a few shots. That you're averaging not quite 5 shots a game. That's insane.
Yeah, 4.2.
Yeah, that's
so
a lot
the real question: can Ovi keep that up?
Yep.
Because if he does, I think there's going to be a real push for Ovi.
Yep.
He's the old guy, sentimental thing. Everybody gets voter fatigue voting for the two Edmonton guys who have each already won Harts.
Ovi's likely to pass a couple more dudes on the all-time goals list this year if he keeps up that pace too. So
yeah, like there's a lot of like I think a lot of non-hockey reasons would push Ovi into that conversation. Look, and for me, I'm like, the dumbest thing in the world is telling me that Leon Draisaitl is the most valuable player in the world. When he's got Connor McDavid on his fucking team, and vice versa.
Yeah.
Like, you've got two of the three best. It's not the best player award. The players have an award for that called the Ted Lindsay that they vote on.
You know how the voting goes.
Yeah, but I'm saying if you want to look at the other top scorers, Ovechkin is clearly comically valuable to Washington.
Yep.
Nazem Kadri, how valuable has he been to Colorado so far?
Unfathomably.
With no Nathan MacKinnon, he basically reproduced Nathan MacKinnon's ideal stat line. Just became Nathan MacKinnon when MacKinnon was out.
Yep, pretty much.
You know, I mean, Kirill Kaprizov is 5th in the NHL in scoring. He has 29 points in 24 games. How important is that guy to Minnesota? You take that guy out of there, you take Kadri out of Colorado. Colorado's probably still pretty good because there's a guy like Cale Makar. Take Kaprizov off of Minnesota, they're nobody. Deep trouble.
Yep.
So when you talk about the idea of an MVP, and this is one of the things that's always been interesting about an MVP conversation, because it's most valuable player, and valuable is a
relative term.
Yeah. Different. It's a moving target, and it changes for every single person.
Yep.
You know, you look at Troy Terry in Anaheim. How valuable has that guy been? Jake Gensel is at a point per game and helped Pittsburgh survive no Sidney Crosby. They still don't have Malkin.
So,
but
what an actual MVP is hard to nail down, but it's just not the reality of the award.
So it's almost like the hockey world should be rooting for Ovi to keep this up so that we have an excuse not to give it to a goddamn Oiler again.
I'm here for it.
And it's not that those guys aren't incredible. It's that the idea that one of them is more valuable than the other, when like their value clearly goes through the roof together.
Yeah.
So that's look, keep going, Ovi. Just keep going so we have the excuses. Right now, I'd give it to Ovi.
I would too, personally, but
I'm also spiteful like that, and I don't want Leon Draisaitl to win another thing the rest of his goddamn career. Unless it's like Richards. Like those are automatic, like whatever.
That just means you scored the most. Like
yeah,
there's no
if he ends up winning that, like you earned that. Like you just outscored it. That's fine. That's cool.
All right. Well, maybe have a Breck brew before you vote, and then you can convince yourself that Ovi's worth voting for, or at least not to vote for McDavid. Hit up Breckenridge Brewery, get whatever beers you like. You can get 8 different kinds on tap down at the DNVR bar, or find them at your local liquor store with the Breck Beer Locator online. You can also find their Good Company hard seltzers if you're more of a seltzer person. They're absolutely delicious. And if you need a little bit of extra beer money, the Ball Corporation is currently hiring. People are what make Ball special. People at every level come into work each day and give 100% to accomplish the goals. Our production techs are the front line. are the front line in our can-making operations. They directly impact the volume of production we run, the quality of the production we run, and are integral to our operations. Production technicians are also important because as their skills grow, they are able to move into even more mechanical roles. So Ball is hiring some frontline technicians. Their salaries start at over $27 an hour. So you can either text Golden to 77222 or go to jobs.ball.com and search for Golden to get your application now with the Ball Corporation. They're a great company. I already mentioned the living wage that they pay. They give insurance, they give benefits, they give all of this great stuff. And even if you don't have a great resume, they can offer classes to you to help get your resume filled out. So check out Ball Corporation today. Again, go to jobs.ball.com to see their job offerings. And now's a great time to get a DNVR membership. I know people aren't super happy in Nuggets and Broncos land right now, but we still got all the coverage in the world on those teams.
How awful do you feel for the Nuggets?
Oh, right. They just cannot stay healthy, man.
I mean, they can't catch a break, dude. Even Jokic has an injured wrist.
Yeah, it's brutal. It's brutal out there right now.
It's been painful.
Well, and it's, obviously the Avs have had a lot of injuries too, but with just how few players a basketball team has, you lose a guy like Jokic for a little while, and it's devastating.
It's like no Jamal Murray, right? And then you end up with even
done for the year.
MPJ has serious
career-ending potential injury. Yeah.
You just never know how a guy responds to something like that. And then you end up with PJ Dozier.
Yep.
Like a key reserve that they need to be solid, because it's like that's a guy they pulled off the street and developed and turned into a good player. And now he's hurt.
You get dudes like Jermichael Green starting for you, and it's obvious that he just can't do that.
It's crazy how bad he is.
He's not good. But a podcast for a different day, which is why you should get a DNVR membership so you can go check out everything all the Nuggets do. Of course, all the stuff we do as well. We have post-game pieces, we have grades, we have prospect portfolio should be coming out either later today or tomorrow for me that you can check up on all he has prospects, bunch of stuff. So you can get all that and a free shirt when you get an annual membership, plus access to the DNVR lounge, big beers at the DNVR bar, all sorts of awesome stuff. So yeah, get that DNVR membership. Second period of the DNVR Avalanche Podcast presented by DraftKings Sportsbook. Rudo and AJ coming at you. Where do you want to go next? You want to go defensemen or goalies, AJ?
Goalies.
All right. So this one, I really
what about them? Defensemen.
I see.
I'm just kidding.
I don't have a great feel for the top goalie class this year. I know Jack Campbell has been great out in Toronto, but how much of that is the team in front of him that's just murdering people?
It's crazy because we've been talking about how high scoring the NHL is, and then you've got some of these goaltender performances that are just insane,
dominating the league. Yeah. Multiple goalies under 2 goals against per game. That includes Campbell. I think you said Markstrom has 5 shutouts this year?
Yep.
So they out there somewhere. Quality goaltending. Not in spades, but it's out there. Who you got, AJ? Who you got taking it home?
I think there's really 3 guys that have stood out to me so far.
Okay.
And that's Campbell, Shesterkin, and Markstrom.
All right.
With serious bro nods to Freddie Anderson and Tristan Jarry.
Okay. Look, I get it. A lot of goaltending stats, and the award is often somewhat at least going to be a team stat. I don't think it's any coincidence that you're talking about goaltenders from teams that are dominating like Toronto and Carolina.
Well, and it's no coincidence that when a team has a goaltender that's dominating, they're winning. They tie into each other.
Yep, definitely.
It's like when you look at the I saw somebody passing around one of the J Fresh cards for the team for the Avs last night.
Yep.
And it's like the things that the Avs are bad in: goals against, PK, goaltending.
Yeah.
And it's like, that's so weird that all of those three things are wrapped up together, that they directly correlate together.
Yeah. Definitely not shocking to hear that those three things all move up and down together.
Yeah.
So is it Jack Campbell in the lead right now, or do you think Markstrom can pip him a little bit? I know you love Shesterkin, but for me, I don't think he's quite on the same level as
and
those
Shesterkin
two.
just got hurt, so
That
he's
doesn't help
gonna
either.
gonna lose ground there. But I think Campbell being, I truly think that there is an extra element to succeeding as a Maple Leaf.
Sure.
That the environment there, you have a batshit crazy fan base that, just based on how they're treating Neil Pionk's concussion news today, I said this on Twitter, but I had no idea that there were so many fans in that fan base that ironed their clothes while wearing them.
It's not just the fan base too, right? The media there is rabid.
And it's like a hotbed of an environment, right? Like it's a really difficult place to succeed, and he's succeeding at an insanely high level.
Yep.
So I think I would probably go with Campbell because the day-to-day living there, it's not, and not that New York is not a tough media environment for the Rangers, because come on. But Toronto is just a little bit different, and I think Campbell's just been a little bit better, and I would probably lean Campbell for right now. But also, like, special shout out to Markstrom. I mean, 5 shutouts in 19 games.
Yeah, that's impressive to say the least. Any nod to, I saw Chant talking about this a little bit. There's a couple of guys, honestly, if you wanted to get in the conversation about Vladar and Ottinger. Obviously, they don't have the games played to really be in the conversation, but
those are we'll see.
Yeah, sure.
But with Vladar, that's a backup job.
Yep.
He's backing up Markstrom. No. With Markstrom being
taking all of the good
clear
teams.
cut, the clear cut starter and succeeding at an absurdly high level. Vladar, look, it looks like Boston might have just given up on a dude, maybe a touch too soon, or they just couldn't keep him, or whatever it ended up being. But hey, he's off to a great start, and good for him. So is Ville Husso. So we'll see.
The dream, bud.
With Ottinger, again, you're talking about a guy with 6 starts.
Yeah, I understand the games played isn't there, but in the games they've gotten, they've been very, very good.
Yeah, definitely. But we've seen, if you isolate the 6 best games that any goaltender plays, you could put up some. Those guys probably have insane stats
for sure.
So those are we need to see some more there. There's just more. You just need to see more.
Fair enough.
So, for me, that's a we'll see. You know, like, yeah, Swayman has been good. Vladar's been better, but Swayman has double the games. Kind of my point right now.
Yep.
So, right now it's look, if Jake Ottinger continues to throw up a 950 and he takes over Dallas' starting job, he'll win the Vezina. That's just what's up. If he ends up with 45 games played and has a 950 save percentage, he wins the Vezina. That's just what's up.
So, who wins the ESPY for Save of the Year, and why is it Eric Johnson last night?
Oh, that was a dope play, but it wasn't that dope.
I know. It's not like it was a particularly big moment or anything either.
Well, and it wasn't like we've seen every year there are a handful of saves where a goaltender throws his stick out and gets a puck in midair.
Yeah.
Or you have like the Grubauer left pad lift, like there are some like nuts saves along the way. And EJ just swatted a puck out of the air. Like just did the same thing that Tyson Jost did in that Arizona game, except there wasn't a man that he was also hitting at the same time.
Eddie, I'm assuming the heat maps you're talking about are the Hockey Biz heat maps, which
from Micah.
Go check out Micah's stuff. His stuff is amazing, worth every penny that I pay him to get that hockey info.
Dude, I waste a lot of time just looking at that stuff.
No kidding. Okay. Yeah, we can just go here right now. Go ahead and hit yourself up with Chevalier Mortgage. Both Mike and Virginia have been in the business for a very long time and can help you navigate the ridiculous waters that are the housing market in Colorado right now. You can visit them at dnvrmortgage.com, where you can get a free consultation as well as your chance to win some free DNVR merch, or you can call Virginia directly at 303-257-6578. Even if you already own your home, something to keep in mind is that with prices going up, it's creating natural equity in your home. So if you have mortgage insurance, chances are you can refinance out of that and make the bubble work for you. Of course, if you're a new home buyer, Mike is a certified financial planner, so he can look at your entire financial picture to make sure you're getting the right home loan and not getting screwed over by a bank. It's pretty much not a good thing. Don't trust the banks. Hashtag I'm a communist or something. I don't know.
I think we were fascists.
Was it fascist? Is that the one?
I think that's what we were called, as fascists.
All right. Well, either way, go to DNVR Mortgage, get hooked up with Mike and Virginia, and get yourself the right home loan for you. Michael Chevalier, NMLS 1931006. Virginia Chevalier, NMLS 1910631. Then you can hit up Hassel Cattle Company, get yourself some delicious meats to eat in your new home. Got the Wagyu beef burger, which everyone down at the bar loves. You can try it there if you're not sure. Everyone I've said to try it says I undersell it, even though I say it's the best thing ever. So go get it, go eat it, enjoy it. For the holidays right now, you can get 15% off when you use code DNVR15 at hasslecattlecompany.com. You can get all sorts of steaks, your basic New York strips, sirloins, stuff like that. But you can also get bone-in ribeyes or tomahawk steaks or whatever your mind can imagine. They're all amazing and delicious. Check them out today at hasslecattlecompany.com. And as always, hit up DraftKings Sportsbook. Maybe you want to make a little bit of extra cash. If you want to have fun with DraftKings Sportsbook, sign up for a new account with code DNVR right now. All you have to do is bet $1 on any football team, and you win when that team doesn't get shut out. If they score a single point, you win $100. And there's been one shutout this year in the NFL, I think. I know the Seahawks got shut out once. I don't think there's been any other shutouts. So your odds
in the NFL?
Yeah.
What? The Broncos have a shutout.
Do they?
Yeah. Don't they have two?
I don't think they
Just
have
the
two.
one?
Anyway, my point
definitely have one.
I believe you. But my point being, it's like a 98% chance, and just don't bet on a terrible football team and you'll get a point. And that wins you $100 in free bets on DraftKings. With that $100, you can go bet on whatever you want. You can bet on Lucas Raymond to win the Calder. You can bet on whichever goalie you prefer to win that thing. You can put all your money on Ovi to win the Hart. So jump on it, get your $100 in free bets. Be sure to use that DNVR code when you sign up for a new account with DraftKings Sportsbook. And even if you have an account, they have an amazing odds boost every single day, so be sure to check them out. You can download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use promo code DNVR. Go ahead.
If either team scores, you win $100.
Oh, it's either team scores?
Yes, it doesn't have to be.
So that's literally happened in every game in the history of time.
Yes, that's why Ryan famously tells people that he'll give them $1 million if it doesn't hit, which I still don't feel comfortable with, just in case. You never know.
It could.
Does RK have $1 million to give away?
No, he doesn't have $1 million to give.
Then this is meaningless.
He said maybe stock in the company eventually. I know. I just don't like it, but that you're guaranteed to win, pretty much.
Yeah. I think as long as the NFL has existed, I don't think a game has ended 0-0. So.
Ryan says it will be paid out in 75 installments in 75 years.
That's still like
how Colorado lottery of him.
Yeah. Anyway, go over there. Have some fun on DraftKings. They're an official sports betting partner of the NFL. It must be 21 or older, Colorado only. Other terms, restrictions, and conditions apply to DraftKings.com/sportsbook details. Of course, if you have a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700. Be sure to check out all of our dope content on YouTube. Be sure to like and subscribe here. If you're not, you can catch us every time we go live. It's a minimum 5 days a week based on the Avs hockey schedule in the upcoming days. Probably going to see us 6 times a week, fairly regularly, depending on how many days we want to take off. So we're here all the time doing stuff on YouTube. Of course, you can check out my reviews, all sorts of good stuff.
Irony being that next week we're taking Monday and Wednesday off.
Yeah. All right. So we're taking a little bit of time. There'll still be 5 shows that week, though.
Yeah,
like
it's just the way that the schedule sets up.
Yeah, we're live Sunday and Saturday next week. So
yeah, instead of doing all 7 days, having the next Sunday off, and then having the Avs play 3 games in 4 days. No.
As much as I would love to do 13 shows in 14 days.
Yeah. I mean, I like the challenge of it, but I also know the effect of it. So it's like,
I think I'd be more up for it if I was confident that the Avs would win a game 3-2 and not 8-4. But
yeah,
but the Avs are making a lot of work for me lately, so it is what it is. Anyway, YouTube, we make a bunch of great content for all of the beats. So if you're not liked and subscribed, you're doing it wrong. That's all I'm saying. Third period of the DNVR Avalanche podcast, and I think this is the big conversation of the show. The Norris Trophy, AJ. Is Cale Makar in the lead for this thing? Victor Hedman has been scoring a lot. Obviously, Adam Fox is up there. You have Aaron Ekblad, who has quietly risen towards the top of production for defensemen, too. There's a lot of quality defensemen going on, at least offensively. I'm curious how the advanced statistics and that defensive side of the game play in here.
I am also curious.
Pull up Matt's stat trick.
I mean, I haven't gone through all of these just because 20 games into the season, I'm not blowing 3 hours of my time.
For sure. For numbers that are going to continue to change drastically.
For a fake thing.
Well, let's start with this. Cale Makar has scored the most goals of any defenseman by a significant margin.
Yeah, Ekblad has 8.
That is the second most. Makar now with 11 after last night. So he's
Ekblad has
putting
8.
The puck in the net.
Yossi has 7, and then there's a grip of dudes with 6, and then you just keep going down the line.
Yep.
But Makar at 22 points is tied for 5th with Seth Jones, but with 19 games played, he's at 1.16 points per game, which leads Hedman and Fox.
Yep. At points per game metrics, he is the top defenseman.
Yep. And he has 13 even strength points versus 9 power play points.
Yep.
Adam Fox has 14 even strength points, 10 power play points, and a shorthanded point.
Good for him.
So I also think that shorthanded point is probably where, like, that's not what is going to push the thing to Adam Fox, but that Adam Fox plays the PK.
Sure. Makar certainly does not play any PK time.
Yeah.
The other conversation surrounding Makar specifically, yes, he may lead in these point per game metrics, but health. Makar really hasn't missed that many games this year.
He really hasn't, but, you know, can Cale Makar just play 30 straight games?
Right. You would like to see him. I'm not going to say play a full 82 game season or anything like that, but you would certainly like to see him get to 75.
I mean, 70.
Sure.
I'm good with 70, man.
All right. Certainly, if you're a longtime watcher of the pod, you know that availability is a skill.
Yep. We talk about it a lot.
Makar, more available than Bowen Byram so far this year. So certainly got that going for him. And I don't think there are any questions about who the best defender is in Colorado. I know AJ may make an argument for Devon Taves, but
yeah, I mean, Taves is more of like he's your steady Eddie, right? He's your glue guy that just gets you, that gets you through it. You know, that like his It doesn't matter what the lineup is around him. He plays at a very, very high level every single game. He brings the A game, or the B+ game has been his bad game so far this year.
Yep.
There's no C game there. He's just Taves is just and the thing with a guy like Cale Makar is that when he's got the A+ game, his A+ is just better than everybody else's. It's just a higher A+ game than everybody else's. It's just that's the thing, and he doesn't always get to it. You could even argue he doesn't get to it all that often, but
when he does,
they win, and it's because he just
was the man,
dominates.
Yep.
So, you need a Devon Taves to kind of balance you out, but with Makar, just talking about roles here, he averages 42 seconds of shorthanded time on ice per game. And that's, he's played 13-27 of shorthanded.
So it's not like a massive amount of anything.
Yeah. It's not a regular role for him.
Yep.
It's just a thing. He's just not that dude. And then you look at the competition, you look at Victor Hedman and how he does, you look Adam Fox, it's really just Adam Fox that everybody obsesses about.
Yeah.
Adam Fox plays 2 minutes of shorthanded time per game.
It's just something that he has in his pocket that Cale Makar doesn't.
Yeah, it's the role that they're giving him, and he plays 3 minutes of power play time, 2 minutes of shorthanded time. He produces with all of it, and he does a great job in all of the roles. Adam Fox is excellent.
But is he better than Cale Makar?
I think that's just a cup of tea.
Yeah.
That's which style of player do you prefer? Because again, when Cale Makar is at his best, like
no one can touch him for sure.
Adam Fox just isn't that good.
Yep.
Like and when I say he's just not that good, I mean he's not as good as Makar at his best. I'm not saying Adam Fox is just not that good.
Got you.
Just that he's just not
a transcendent talent like Cale Makar is capable of being. So, honestly, if we're picking today, you could give it to any of these dudes. Hedman, Fox, Makar, Ekblad.
Yeah, Ekblad is the one that I think is Roman Josi is involved in this right now, and it's like,
sure.
I've never really been a big Roman Josi guy. I just anecdotally, I don't watch a lot of Nashville because I don't like the desire to claw my eyes out. But anecdotally, I don't think he's great defensively.
Yeah.
And analytically, he's fine defensively. Like he's not special. But then if you get into the analytics of it, that's where Adam Fox takes on. He gets to a different level.
Sure.
Cale Makar drives the hell out of some play, but so does Adam Fox, and Adam Fox's defensive metrics are a whole lot better. I mean, a whole lot better. So,
well,
I think it's just going to continue to be a race between. I mean, these two guys are going to be in it. It's so funny.
Year after year after year. Yeah.
You remember when it was Quinn Hughes was the truth, and he was
gone.
The guy, and now nobody even talks about him. Obviously he's on between these three guys. He's on by far the worst team, in by far the worst organization.
Yeah,
the one that has no fucking idea what it's
rudderless.
doing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, he's got some disadvantages there that are totally out of his control. But the reality is that away from Chris Tanev, Quinn Hughes has been a bad defender.
Yep. The defensive side
Brilliant.
That everyone was so high on
exactly
the first year. Yeah.
It was like, oh, this is sustainable. This is going to be, Quinn Hughes is this and Quinn Hughes is that. And then he gets away from Chris Tanev, and all of a sudden it was just like,
If the season ended today, would Taves be in the top 10 for Norris? I think the games he missed probably keeps him out of that just because of the sample size being so small. But he might be close.
So Taves is interesting because the defense is really, really good.
Yeah, obviously.
He gets overshadowed by Makar because Makar is just brilliant, right? But Devon Taves has 15 points in 13 games.
Yeah, I'm not taking anything away from Taves. I'm just saying
you're right.
He's played 13 games.
Like the season ended today, yes.
Yeah.
He would have half the games played of some of these other guys.
Yeah. And that's the exciting thing about this conversation is there's anywhere from 55 to 60 games left for these hockey teams. So
the thing about Taves versus these other guys is that his defense is much better. His defense is legitimately elite, but he doesn't drive offense. He produces offense, but he doesn't actually drive play.
Yeah.
He's not the guy flying up out of the zone with the puck driving.
His production comes from plays set up in the offensive zone where he's getting pucks on net from the point or cutting to the back door, things like that.
Yeah, like he's got 4 goals. He's shooting 14%. If you look at previously in his career, his rookie year, he had 5 goals in 48 games. He's got 4 goals in 13 games right now. The year after that, he had 6 goals in 68 games. So the fact that he had 11 goals his first 2 years in the NHL and he has 13 goals in 2 partial seasons. Not even 2 partial seasons. You're talking 53 games and 13 games. So 66 games. He has 13
full
goals.
Real season.
Yeah. He's got 66 games played. And he's sitting on 46 points.
Yeah.
Since getting to Colorado. Devon Taves has found a totally different level in Denver. He was great for the Islanders, and his offense has exploded to a different level in Denver, and his defense has remained top shelf. So you want to make an argument for a dark horse guy that should be getting Norris conversation, it would be him, in my opinion. Because his all of his fancy stats, all of the counting stats, everything is upper echelon. The only thing that he doesn't have going for him right now is the games played.
Yep. I'm fair with that.
You miss a month of the season, that's just life.
Ask again in March, and it could be a totally different conversation.
If Devon Taves is not a serious candidate for Team Canada, they're fucking stupid.
Yep.
I guarantee you they take at least one player who's not as good as Devon Taves.
All right. Well, I think that more or less wraps up all the major awards. Is there any other ones you really wanted to touch on, AJ?
No, I mean, like the goal scoring one, the Rocket Retard, like that will be a fun race to follow.
Between Dry and Ovi.
Yeah, and do they keep it up?
Yeah.
Do they continue?
Can they actually push for 60?
Yeah. Can a dark horse like Kyle Connor break into that?
Pick up a hat trick or two and get in. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's a long season. So if they take Drew Doughty, they get what they deserve. He just doesn't have. I mean, Team Canada has too many options. I don't think Drew Doughty wouldn't make Team USA's defense.
Yeah, Drew Doughty's kind of not good anymore.
Like, he bounced back up off the floor, right?
For a while.
He rebounded from the, oh my God, this guy's actually brutal.
Is his career over level? Yeah, he's not that bad, but.
Yeah, but it's not, no.
Yeah, it's not as bad as I initially thought, and like in the 8 games he's played this year, it's actually been very good. But I would have to look at the defensive metrics also to see, and he's shooting 14% this year, which isn't going to last. So yeah, it's Drew Doughty is what 32, also now.
I don't know, something like that.
I don't know. Anyway, not the conversation for the show today. Maybe for another day when we start talking more Olympic stuff, which isn't that far off, assuming, well, we'll be talking about it either way, but, hopefully the NHL actually goes.
It would help.
Okay. I guess we're going to get out of here for the day then. Thank you, everyone, for watching, listening, hanging out in the chat. We appreciate all of you. We hope to see you again tomorrow. We got pregame, we got postgame. You know the drill. We'll be there all around the game. Pregame at 4:30 Mountain. So the last early game of this road trip should be a fun one. Adam Fox versus Cale Makar.
So nice, man.
Right? Getting home before 10 o'clock.
The early games. Great. And just as a quick thing about tomorrow, I know we have a pregame and stuff that we'll do tomorrow, but 2-1-1 on the road trip. Obviously, if they win, this is a huge success. But if they lose, it's
not too stymied about it. Yeah,
a 2-2-1 where you play certainly 4 of the games, maybe even 5 of the games without either of your top 2 goalies.
Yeah, missing top 2 goalies. You were missing Makar and Kadri for a random game in there.
Yeah,
a lot of stuff going on, and it's also the 5-game road trip that is the full swing across Canada and into the East Coast.
Yeah. And 5-game road trips. I say it all the time, but the hardest one of these things to win is
Game 5.
It's the 5th game. And then your first game back is actually teams.
That's the trap game. Yep.
Teams are coming off long road trips. Their first game at home, their winning percentages are really low.
Yep. So be sure to tune in tomorrow. But until then, we will talk to you later.